Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Center. I think I ended the show before I started the show with the pressing the wrong button there. But Ty's with us tonight. It was an accident-free Wednesday for our friend Ty. And of course, tonight our guest is trainer Scott Young. Scott, thanks for joining us. How are things?
Things are great right now. Things have been busy. I've just been up and down the road a lot here this summer, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's things are going well right now.
For sure. So you have some stuff in common with Ty. You were a jockey before you were a trainer, right?
I was, an average jockey. Just like no,
he was a fat jockey. Is what he was.
I was, and that's what I wanted to do from the time I was a little kid, was be a jockey, and I got to do it for quite a while, longer than ever expected. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity I had when I was younger.
Yeah, I read that one of the reasons why you were happy to get out of being a jockey so you could eat some pizza. So how's the pizza business?
I eat it 3 or 4 times a week, so it's been pretty good to me.
I love pizza. I don't know about you, Ty, but for me, I could literally have pepperoni pizza every day. What's on your pizza, Scott?
I'm a Canadian bacon, red onion kind of guy.
And you, Ty?
I got to go for the meat lovers. They kind of throw it all on there. Like I said, the worse, the better,
The worse it is for you, the better, you mean, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No such thing as bad pizza, except, okay, we had this question once on our Facebook page. So just a quick round table, then Ty, take over. But cooked pineapple, yes or no on pizza? Scott?
No.
Ty?
No.
Me, absolutely not. All right, Ty. Take over, my man.
All right, so little background for the folks. Me and Scott Young, we go way back in time. One of my good buddies. So any ribbon done on Scott's behalf, that's all in good nature. I feel like I've earned that right to be able to do that to my good buddy because I'm sporting his merchandise here. Scott Young Racing with the Star Team and also the Star Team koozies. You owe me $20 for doing that now, Scott.
Well, before you go on, if someone wants to get it, how do they get it, Scott?
I'm currently out of merch right now. It's on back order. There's a supply shortage right now, so it's in the works. So I will let you guys know. It should be coming in the next 30 days. I'll have the merch back up and going.
Fantastic. All right, sorry to interrupt you, Ty, but we figured we'd get it out there.
Oh yeah. So we kind of just briefly touched base on Scott. You were a jockey and then you turned trainer. One of kind of the more special horses that a lot of people don't get to have the relationship with that actually go from jockey to trainer. There was a horse called Special Fight that I wanted to make sure and bring up because for the folks that don't know, Scott actually won on this horse as a jockey. And then he also won with this horse as a trainer. So Scott, kind of kick it off with just talking about Special Fight and maybe the difference in riding him as a jockey and then also having him as a trainer and just kind of what that horse means to you a little bit.
That horse is pretty special to me and my family. He's currently he's got his own paddock at my house right now. We turn the weanlings out with him and he's a big babysitter. But that horse was given to my now current wife because he was such a rogue, ill-mannered, just complete outlaw of a horse. And I tried to ride him one night. He threw me off in the post spray twice. The steward scratched him. Long story short, they took him back to the barn and said, anybody that wants this horse with a few extra choice words can have him. And my wife took him, and then I said a few choice words myself after she told me she took the horse. But long story short, he ended up winning 19 races, win a stake race in every track in Oklahoma, and the very last thoroughbred race they ran at Blue Ribbon Downs, him and I won as I was the rider, and I got on him every day in the morning as well. But we won and set a new track record, so that was pretty cool. And then I did not win the stake on him at Fairmeadows, Tulsa one year. My good friend Belen Quinones put me into the inside rail, and then come back the next year and rode him for me and won the stake the next year. I run second the time I rode him in Tulsa. So it was a very special horse to me and my family. He's still with us and really helped us get going and put our girls through college. And he's just a special horse.
Oh, that's awesome that you had that connection then, and then you still have that horse now. You know, it kind of really goes to show the commitment of the trainers in the game and stuff that maybe a lot of people don't understand, that when you get a horse, especially like one like him, you have that lifelong commitment, and it definitely seems like you've kept up your end of that bargain. Another horse that I know is pretty special to you, kind of got some sentimental value as well. He's an Oklahoma bred that's still running. He's made $427,000 in the bank. I'm talking about Shannon C. I know he's another horse that's got a pretty soft spot in your heart, Scott. Go ahead and talk to him about him a little bit and just kind of his story.
Yeah, Shannon C has been. He's a very cool horse. He's made a lot of money. He would have made a lot more money in Oklahoma if it wasn't for the freak of nature welder that he kept running into that made over $1 million. I ran second to him more times than I can count. But long story short, he's been very well. We redeemed ourselves last year. We win the Oklahoma Classic Sprint, 130, and he's win the stakes everywhere. He's just a great horse to be around. And the namesake, he was named after a really good friend of ours that helped us at the barn when we first got started, and just passed away suddenly of a massive heart attack. And Shannon C was born that year, and they didn't want to name the mare's name was Miranda Diane. So they have like a kind of a human names going on with these horses, and they didn't want to name it after. They had too many grandkids to name it after. So Shannon Cox was the guy's name. Passed away that same year he was born. So they was like, you know what? Why not Shannon C? So we couldn't have asked for a better horse to be named after, a better guy. So Shannon C has been a blessing. It's just been an awesome horse to train. Still, actually, I just dropped him off. As a matter of fact, today he's having a little vacation in Springfield, Missouri, before Remington Park. He's getting about 3 weeks off in his own paddock, and he will be back at Remington Park here in about a month. So getting ready for a fall campaign.
Wow, that's awesome. And once again, just another great story with a great horse as well. Now, obviously, you're kind of the Oklahoma kid, some people might say. You've had multiple leading trainer titles there at Will Rogers Downs there in Claremore. And the last 2 years, you've been in the top 5 at Remington. And Remington's just an ultra competitive, ultra tough race meet, I think, for jockeys and trainers and owners as well. I mean, it's just brutally competitive. What's kind of the Oklahoma circuit like, kind of going from Will Rogers, and I know you've skipped Fair Meadows the last couple of years, but then on to Remington. What's just kind of the Oklahoma circuit like, and just kind of the training styles around there?
It's been very good to me, and I enjoy Oklahoma. That's where I'm from. That's where my farm is. That's where I'm up by Will Rogers. I'm about, my farm's probably 20 minutes from Will Rogers Downs, so that's basically home for me. And then we get geared up for Remington Park. I mean, we try to make a stay there every year and everywhere else. But I've been very, very fortunate to get the right kind of owners to provide me with very good Oklahoma breds and other horses. But having the better Oklahoma breds have made me competitive and keep me in the standings every year at Remington. And these guys have also stepped up to the plate, and I've got some pretty nice 2-year-olds coming this way this year that should be ready by Remington Park. And so hopefully we have another good fall campaign. That's our plan right now.
So we're supposed to ask about Little Man Jerky. So Scott, what are your thoughts about Little Man Jerky?
Little Man Jerky is very good jerky, and I've met Little Man Jerky at Houston and at Oaklawn. And every time I see him, I buy his product, and it's I give it a shout out. I approve it, 10 out of 10. It's or 5 stars, whatever you want to give it. It's good stuff. And the salsa.
It is Star Team approved.
That's right. And the salsa. Ty and Tierney hooked me up with some salsa one day at Houston, and it was very, very well received.
So, Little Man, we're always looking for a sponsor. If you want to sponsor us, we're more than happy to do so. So let us know. Reach out to Shawn directly on DM, and we can talk about Little Man Jerky every day. All right, gentlemen, sorry to interrupt you over the selfless promotion, but let's move on.
Scott, when you quit riding and you decided that you wanted to take out your trainer's license, aside from the obvious weight gain, what were some of the big changes going from a jockey to a trainer and actually trying to build those connections with owners and actually getting some good steady business for you? How were you able to achieve that?
Well, it was I started training. I was fortunate enough to quit riding at the time on my own terms. I wasn't busted up. I wasn't hurt. I mean, I was fighting weight, but I had an opportunity to start training for the right people and was going to be able to train better horses than I was getting to ride, essentially. So it was time to make the jump. I did it for 8 years, and it's difficult. I mean, there's two things I say today I would never start doing again, and that's start playing golf and start training racehorses. I mean, it was the two of the mentally most challenging things you'll ever do in your life. I mean, it's the physical part doesn't bother me one bit. It's just sometimes you just got to go out there with a smile on your face, even after you just got your ass kicked, and just let people know that it didn't faze you.
Any broken?
Speaking of that, do you still have my $20 from when I beat you on the golf course?
I don't recall that day.
Oh, okay. I just thought I'd
this
slide
might
that
be
in
another
there,
day
just
you recall. Ty was telling me a little bit yesterday about one day in particular. Ty, is that something we could talk about, or did you decide that's off the table?
Jeez,
well, our good friend and valet Cody Ungles kind of briefed me in a little bit on a story about when Scott was a bug boy. And I don't know, Scott, you shipped into Iowa, and what I think I'll just let you tell it because I think you know the details a little bit better.
It was actually the Woodlands in Kansas City. I think I was just barely 17 years old. I'd probably rode 3 races at Blue Ribbon Dales. I didn't know a soul. I'm going to Kansas City to ride a quarter horse. And I don't know anybody. And I walk into the jockey room. I have no idea where to go. I don't know who's going to take my tack. I don't know where to put my tack. I don't even let alone. I know what race I ride is about all I know. So I'm nervous, and I go in. I get dressed, and I guess I get dressed probably 4 hours before I even have to even think about going to ride this race. And then they come to tell me right before I go out to ride my race, I have my jock pants on inside out. And before I left, they had a balloon full of baby powder above my box with a remote control car with an arrow on it. And right as I just got dressed and I'm ready to get the hell out of there because I don't know anybody. Next thing you know, I'm just covered in powder. I mean, they got me, and then it kind of broke the tension. Everything was good. That was kind of my, the very first jocks room initiation for the first time, and then it happened more and more after that. But I was more prepared and ready for it.
So you're always looking.
Well, I'm sure you got
if that was the worst thing, which it wasn't that ever happened to me in the jocks room, that would have been just fine.
Well, I'd say that's pretty mild.
How did the race turn out?
I think I run 4th or 5th. I was on an 870 quarter horse that I knew wouldn't make the turn, and sure enough, I'd come out of I'd been getting on the horse for 6-7 months, and the trainer obviously thought he would go around a turn, and he wouldn't. And so, thank God I think in the 5 or 6 hole, and I didn't kill nobody, and I survived, but. It wasn't a good experience, my first, and it was cold. It was very cold in Kansas City in October.
Sounds like a tough day. So you sound like I interrupted you once again, Ty. So whether it's Shawn or you, I'm always in the business of interrupting.
No, you're good. I was just ribbing Scott a little bit. I said I'm just surprised that did you have your helmet buckled and everything 4 hours out too with your goggles down?
I did not have my helmet on. I had my vest on, and I had my boots and my pants inside out, and I was just sitting there like not talking to anybody. Nobody was really talking to me. They knew I think it was Alex Berzer and Ken Shino, and there was a lot of them other Kelly Murray was riding. It was a bunch of them guys, and they were just. And then by the time it was all said and done, they all, they broke they were good by the time I left that day. But I was nervous. I wasn't nervous to ride. I was just nervous being around them guys that, I'd looked up to a lot, watched them on TV, and I'm like, well, I'm riding with these guys today. We're the big time. We're at Woodlands.
Mm-hmm. So you had a big time year last year. What do you credit the record year to last year?
Well, it just accumulating and trying to get better horses every year. I mean, it just seems like a lot of it becomes my 2 and 3-year-old horses start getting better as 3-year-olds, the ones that don't make it as 2-year-olds. And the last 2 years, it seems like we've went to sales and we've increased the quality of young horses that we've brought into the barn. And that's just, I think that's what I give most of my success last year and last couple of years too, was just getting better younger horses get going. And we made some good claims. And so it was 2021 was a pretty good year for us.
Mm-hmm.
Which that also leads kind of into my next question was how, I know that you do a little bit into the claiming game, and you claim a lot, and you also get a lot claimed off of you, but you have some owners that breed horses as well, and then also go to the sales. So how are you always trying to scout that next talent and that next quality, whether it be at the claim box or it be at the sale? What's kind of your methods for trying to get the best horse possible in your barn?
We just try to, study the forms, watch replays, try to, look at the numbers, see if a horse's numbers are slightly getting better, a horse that stays the same that maybe you think your program can make it run a little better, and watching. I watch a lot of horses train in the mornings at the tracks I go to, and just try to scout horses that way and just try to pick one out. That's how I make a lot of my claims, is just watching horses train in the morning of other people's and thinking, you know what? And I'll study, watch, kind of get a line on what horse that is, and then see what's that horse's form look like. Well, okay, that looks like something that we might want in our barn, or find a horse that's in bad form but training good, or seems to be getting better, and take a shot. It's some of my best claims I've made is horses I've watched train that we took a shot on, and it ended up working out. A horse wasn't in that good a form, but seemed to be getting better in the mornings, and we seemed to get a few horses at the right time.
Now, you seem to have had over the years, you always seem to have a pretty decent 2-year-old crop come in every year. And it seems like you always try to unleash at least the better ones there at Remington. Just kind of go into a little bit of your 2-year-old preparation and how you kind of see their progression, or maybe some of them don't, as the longer that you have them, and just kind of what you do to prep them to get them to the race to be in their best form possible first time out.
Well, I'm fortunate enough that a lot of guys that I train for are from Oklahoma, or not some of them aren't, but they gearing up for Remington with some of these 2-year-olds. These guys don't push me to run them in May, or June or July. So I'm pushing on a few 2-year-olds at the end that we think that can, and for Prairie Meadows and some of the Iowa breds, but luckily I'm able to bring these 2-year-olds along at I'm not saying a slower pace, but a consistent pace. And instead of having them run early 2-year-olds, we're looking for a fall debut and campaign. And I think that's what's, I credit that to the owners, just giving us the time to get these horses ready and giving them more time to, let's shoot for Remington, or even if they don't make Remington, let's shoot for Hot Springs, as soon as they open it now in December. So it's that's what I credit to, is just some of the owners not pushing us to get these things ready, now, so that the ones that are, we'll run them early. I've got some that are coming around that should be ready to run here in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Any names that horse players should jot down on their horse to watch list?
I've got an Iowa bred in this week. He's a Temple City. He's a great big horse. He doesn't necessarily have the greatest amount of speed, but I've got a first-time starter Iowa bred named Temple City running in Prairie Meadows on I believe it's Saturday, and I think he will be worth watching. If it's it might be a little short for him as he stretches on out. He will be probably pretty nice horse, let alone Iowa bred. So when he's running against his own kind, that's going to benefit him a lot.
Temple City. Mark that one down.
Temple City, Iowa bred that runs on the dirt.
And for the record, if you bet on any of Scott's horses that he's a bad tout on, he'll refund all monies.
Yeah,
so.
And I'm a horrible tout, so just people in
that's just, of course, a joke, folks. Actually, Ty's going to refund your money.
Yes.
Well, bet small then. Bet small.
Yeah.
No, Scott, the last couple of years, you've kind of branched out a little bit, and you've been sending a pretty good size string to Houston in the winters, and now this year you've got a pretty solid string there at Dallas as well. Obviously, it seems like the Texas racing has been going up and up. What has been kind of an influencing factor to get you to send a strong amount of horses down to Texas?
Well, be honest, the number one factor was I was getting my ass kicked at Oaklawn. I had to go somewhere else. But no, the money got a lot better here in Texas, and it just seemed like it was a time to just seemed like the fit. It was time to make the jump, and I had a lot more open horses, not just Oklahoma breds. It seemed like they would fit well at Sam Houston and here at Lone Star right now. So it just, I don't know. It just seemed like the time to jump. I don't really have no reason why, but it was, I didn't want to take 40 head to Oaklawn is basically was the reason. So they give me 30 the first year at Houston and 30 again this year. And hopefully they'll give me more next year.
Fantastic. So you were just recently.
Then you also have a string at Prairie.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Ty.
I was to say he also has a string at Prairie Meadows as well. So you're kind of scattered all throughout the Midwest. What's kind of your expectations for the string up there at Prairie? How many do you have up there, and how do you manage to be able to keep all these horses in line going from track to track, and especially with you hauling and being on the road a lot? Like I said, I know those wheels don't ever stop turning for you.
Well, it's just I'm fortunate enough to have assembled a tremendous team that, I mean, I couldn't do it without, my assistants, and currently right now my wife is in Prairie Meadows. I mean, she's holding down the fort at home, and she's holding down the string in Prairie Meadows, and my assistant Rotilio Mora here in Lone Star, he's taking care of everything when I'm gone here. So, and then I've just been running back and forth, but yeah, just a tremendous team of help and, assistants and exercise riders. I mean, everybody's it's been fortunate enough I couldn't do it without them, and I wouldn't do it without them. And, we'd be having this conversation. I'd be having 20 head of horses right now if I didn't have the right kind of help.
Little Man Jerky wants to know, besides how good is his stuff, how many horses do you plan on having at Oaklawn this year?
I'll probably keep it around 10 to 15. That's my magic number for Oaklawn. That's what I like to have over there. Small string, run, have some good maidens over there, and try to do some claiming, but that's a lot easier said than done at Oaklawn when you're in 27, 41, and seems like every shake you're in is at least 15 or more. So
a lot of folks interested in those horses. You just had a leading trainer at Will Rogers, but it's a very young, impressive jockey there, Kylie. What are your thoughts on her?
Kylie's a very talented jockey. She has a lot of natural ability and seems to be getting better and better every day. I mean, I think she's going to go places, and she's got the right desire and want to. And I've watched her, and I've known her and the Jordan family for quite a while now, and kind of watched her grow up, start getting on horses. And I always knew when she would start riding, she would probably, if she wanted to do it, she would be successful. And she has been very successful in a very short amount of time. And I think that as long as she wants to continue doing this, which I don't see why she wouldn't, you guys will see her be riding at a lot of other places other than just here in the Midwest in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it didn't take her long to get to 100 wins. So she's been a guest on the show, and she seems like she's got a really, really solid head on her shoulders to go along with her ability.
She does.
Sure.
Not so much
And,
for me with the solid head on my shoulders. I don't know about Ty, but I know for me sometimes. Anyway, sorry, Ty.
Well, I wear a helmet for a living, so I think my head's pretty much gone.
Did you have one on yesterday?
Yeah. Doesn't do much for this part, though.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. Scott, I know another jockey that you've had a lot of years of success with, especially there in Oklahoma, is I'm talking about Floyd Wethy Jr. Now, obviously, we're not going to tell Floyd that we're giving him any credit or nothing because that'll make Floyd's head go really big, even bigger than it already is. But just kind of talk about how you and Floyd kind of got a relationship built up, and he's kind of been basically your go-to rider for the last however many years. Just kind of talk about that relationship with Floyd and your trust in him to get the best out of your horses in the afternoons.
Floyd is very dedicated to the team and helping us out. And I've known Floyd for a long time, like since we was kids. I mean, my grandfather and his father trained together. I rode races for his father, and I've known him basically all his life. I mean, so we got together, and it's just been it just works. You know, it just seems to be a great guy. I mean, always he's always at the barn. He's always, he's dedicated. I couldn't do this without him. I mean, he's strong. People don't give him enough credit. He's a very, very strong rider, and I don't tell him that very often. But he's he's a good rider, and I mean, I just rely on him. I mean, everybody makes mistakes here and there, but I mean, he's my go-to guy, and I'm not afraid to put him on my best horse. I'm not afraid to put him on worst horse because I know I'm going to get 110% out of him every time. And we've got a relationship working that, he breeds his horses. Says, maybe should we wait for the next race? Okay, this horse needs another work or two. Wait, I don't even question it anymore because I used to breeze all of them myself, and I'm a little fat now, so not too bad. But I leave it up to Floyd doing all the working now.
One of the jokes that whenever Scott Young, Floyd Wethy team up for a win, whenever Floyd comes back, we always tell him, man, it's a good thing that Scott Young can train because you can't ride. And then whenever we see Scott, it's it's a good thing that Wethy can ride because you can't train.
I tell him all the time. I said, it just makes me feel better when he wins on one of my horses because it just makes me feel like I'm that much more of a superior trainer because he can win on him.
Now, kind of what you just touched on, Scott, a lot of people don't know, but you actually get on a lot of your horses, whether that be because you want to or because you have to, maybe a different subject. But I know you used to gallop a lot and breeze a lot of your horses to kind of get a feel for it. What's kind of the benefits of being a trainer with the ability to do that, to actually get on your horses and feel them trained versus just sit up at the rail and just be able to watch them train?
That's to me, that's the most enjoyable part of this job for me is still getting on the racehorses. Since I was a little kid, all I ever wanted to do was ride racehorses, and I'm still fortunate enough today to do that every day. But it's a benefit. I mean, it's just a benefit to know if a horse is if you get on a horse on a regular basis, if they're having good days, bad days, if they're touting you they want to run, or they're touting you say, hey, they're just not. Maybe they're just a little sluggish today, or they're just, not having a good day. These horses that talk to you, you just got to be willing to listen. And I just think it's a huge benefit. And I try to get on every horse in my barn, at least once a week just to say, hey, guys call me and say, hey, how's the horse doing? I said, well, I was actually on your horse yesterday. I can tell you how he's doing, or I can tell you how he's not doing. So it's a benefit, and it's the part of this job that I enjoy most is just getting on the horses every day.
For some people that maybe don't know, I actually used to gallop for Scott for a little bit of time before I really started riding, and I used to gallop a horse that he had named Pageants. That's now his pony. Does Pageants still push those buttons on you, Scott, about every day, or has he mellowed out?
He's mellowed out a little bit, but he's still just a big, pretty, kind of not very nice horse to ride sometimes. But he's the stable pony, and when you need him, he's there. So he's a lifer on the team. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, we trained him, and Ty galloped him, and he wasn't very fast, and he learned that he could still get fed every day and every night as long as he didn't run very fast, and he still lives by that today. He doesn't like to go very fast.
So he might not be fast, but apparently he's smart.
He's very smart. Yep. He's found him a home forever with us. I can tell you that.
For sure.
Yeah, he's almost too smart for his own good. He figured the job out quick.
Sounds like
sure
real
did.
quick.
Yeah. So let's see. You're getting ready. How much longer do they have there at the Lone Star meet, Scott?
I think we're over July 25th, July 26th. So we're on we got basically 3 weeks, month left.
3 weeks, and then you got a little bit of a break before Remington. Kind of coming up, like I said, I know we've talked about it earlier in the show. You always seem to gear up every year for Remington, ultra tough, ultra competitive meet. And like I said, you finished in the top 5 in the standings the last 2 years in a row. What's kind of your expectations leading in going to Remington this year?
Well, you know what? I think we've gotten ourselves set up pretty well right now. We've got a lot of horses that have coming off of either some minor injuries coming off or just coming off layoffs, getting ready for the Remington meet. So we've got a pretty fresh bunch of horses we're taking into Remington. A lot of them are Oklahoma breds, but we got some pretty good 3-year-olds and some older horses coming in, and so I'm looking for a good meet just because I feel like I have some new fresh horses that had some needed some time coming off layoff, needed to mature. So I feel pretty good about coming into the Remington meet this fall. I just picked up 3 today, and that just coming off, dropped one off at the training center, and so we're looking forward to it.
And kind of there in Oklahoma, you kind of have the 2 meets of Remington and Will Rogers. You also have Fair Meadows at Tulsa in the summer, but kind of Will Rogers and Remington seem to be kind of the 2 meets that the Oklahoma people key on. And you get to go and train and run, keep your horses either fresh or turned out throughout the year, whether you be at Prairie or in Dallas or wherever. How big of an advantage do you think that gives you going into the Oklahoma bred breed program and their races once Remington hits, having horses that have had recent starts and are coming in tuned up versus horses that maybe are getting their first start in 4 months or this or that? How do you think that actually benefits you in your Oklahoma breds?
I think it benefits me a lot. I mean, I've got both ends of it. I've got the horses that are going to have one start before we get there, and I've got the horses that are going to be coming off layoffs that we feel like are ready to fire right off the bat. But it's I'm always a big proponent. I advocate for horses to get some time off and bring fresh horses to a new meet. Just always have fresh horses at the beginning of a new meet, and it seems like every time I've had that, my meets have went better than expected. So it just – these things are like us. They're athletes. Sometimes they just need a little breather, a little break, and some do, some don't. But that's what we try to bring to Remington Park, because it is a long meet. It's a 4-month meet, and we just try to have the best we can have for the 4 months that we're there.
Now, obviously, in the Oklahoma Bred Stakes program there at Remington, no more welder. Finally, for you. Can we expect
that? Hey, hats off to that horse though, because he made $1 million, and I took 3 of my better horses I've trained, and I could not beat him from the time he was 2 till the time he was 87. How old he was the last race he ran, I don't remember, but
yeah, he was definitely a champion on his own cloud. That's for sure. He was a monster. Can we expect to see Shannon back in that stakes series, or can we expect maybe a new horse from the Scott Young barn?
Well, I think you can definitely expect Shannon C in that stakes series. He's doing well. He's happy. He knows he's had a good year so far. He's just run a short amount, very limited amount of times, but he's made the best of it. Getting a little break right now. And we've also given horse named Mason Moon, a little break. He run his eyeballs out at Oaklawn, never got the win, but was right there all 3 times he ran. So he's coming back. So look for them two to be fighting it out again. Them are the 2 I have, and then maybe I got an unstarted one coming.
You want to share a name or no?
It's Shannon C's little brother. His name's Mirandon.
Mirandon. All right. So
Yeah,
we got Temple City and Mirandon as 2 horses to keep an eye on to add to your horses to watch list. So if somebody has horses they want you to train, how should they reach out to you?
You know, you can reach out to me. Text me, call me, email me, just however, I'm pretty wide open. I'm on Twitter. I don't do a whole lot of Facebooking, but I'm on Twitter or however, I can put. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
All right, so you can find Scott on not on Facebook, on Twitter.
I got a Facebook page, but I'm just not on there a whole lot anymore.
So the easiest way to be just straight up DM you, or do you have a website for your?
I don't. I don't.
All right. We can probably help you with that. It's not too hard. I could probably help you set up a WordPress website for like $50 and no time flat. So just reach out to me. I can help you.
I will.
Sounds good. Anything else, Ty?
I just got one more question. Now, you said that your wife Chaz is up there in Iowa. Does she actually prefer you to be at the barn, or does she actually like it when you're away? Because I think I'd rather ride for Chaz.
That's what everybody says. I'm just a guy that takes all the ass chewings and has to, she sees the brains behind the operation, and she's content. She has been the reason that we've been able to grow and do what we've done. And she doesn't like the spotlight and the publicity, but she is single-handedly the number one person that has brought us from 3 horses to upwards to 70, 80 horses at sometimes, so it's not me, because I'm pretty unintelligent at some points, but I just know horses. She knows. I tell her what's going on, and she fixes it, and she keeps the whole thing running, the wheels rolling. So I could not do this without her, and unfortunately we're apart sometimes, but that's one reason we do so good at Remington Park, is we're both there, and we got our house at Oklahoma City as well, and so it's just much better times when we're together at Remington Park. That's what we look forward to every year. So maybe that's why Remington Park's always been so good to me, is because it is a Chaz.
Well, one thing I can attest to is, I said, I know that we threw some jokes out there this evening, but all kidding aside, that Scott and Chaz, they're about the most down-home people that you'll ever meet, and their doors always open to anybody, and they're just genuinely good-hearted people, and her a little bit more than you, but no, they're just great friends of mine, and like I said, I very blessed to have them as family now. So very good people.
We do have Erica joining us right now. Erica from Lone Star. How are you tonight, Erica?
Hi, I'm doing well. Hi, guys.
How are you? Is your phone working well?
Yes, my phone's working. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
You can?
So you had mentioned to me in the email that you had a couple questions you wanted to fire by as well.
Yeah, sure. Actually, for both, I guess, Ty and Scott Young. I know, Scott, you have a horse in this weekend here at Lone Star Park. You're stabled here. So I just kind of want to know how you feel about that horse. Avery, you have Avery here, going to be in July 3rd. And I just kind of want to know about how you feel on that horse.
Avery has been training very, very well. We know or seem to think she loves the grass, and I think 2 turns is going to be her. That's where we're going to see her excel. Unfortunately, this race is 1.8 miles, so there is a little bit of concern that this race this week could be a 16th, being second out of her life. Going 1.8 miles might be a lot to ask, but with that being said, she's going to be a pretty special horse. I truly believe she likes the grass. She was running late. She was one of the few horses the last time she ran on a very speed favoring turf course. She was running late and had a huge gallop out. I don't know if people was able to see that, but had a huge gallop out after the race. And after talking to Floyd, we made some changes, and we looked for a huge effort for her. We just think the way the race came up, mile and 8 second asking could be a little. Not saying she won't get it eventually, or even this weekend, but we look for a huge effort out of her.
Okay,
How
so
important is the gallop out to you as a trainer?
Excuse me?
How important is the gallop out to you
Oh,
as a
I think
trainer?
it's huge. It's huge. It tells you a lot about, to me, a lot about a horse. You know, it's just seeing a horse run late. You just know it. They're still full of run. They're still, they're still wanting to run. So it's I watch that a lot of times more than the race. Is just the last 70 yards in the eighth or quarter mile after the race is what I tend to watch in works and races.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that question out there because we've had this discussion before as far as handicappers are concerned. To what degree should they pay attention to the gallop out? Sorry to interrupt you, Erica. That's what I do. I interrupt people.
No, it's all right.
I'm a professional interrupter that doesn't get paid. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. I was just gonna say, so I should people should include her then maybe in the trifecta. You know, if she want to keep up there then.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Yeah, actually, still directed to Scott Young. You have another filly that works here at Lone Star Park, and kind of I wanted you to touch base with her. Palacine, is that correct? How I'm saying the name? So you want to speak on her? I've clocked her works, and I've liked her. So anything we should know about her? People looking at her here in the future.
We had Palacine at Oaklawn this winter. She was breezing very, very well and had some minor setbacks. So she's coming off the bench again, and so it's we got a lot of expectations for her. We've got kind of a race picked out. A couple of her gallop outs and her works have been tremendous, but her gallop out past the work hasn't been quite what we want to see yet or we're expecting. So very, very talented filly. We got a lot of high expectations for her, and I do believe she will be running in the next couple of weeks. But we're going to breeze her again this weekend. And if things go well, which I don't see why it wouldn't, looks like we've got some things figured out with her. And I truly believe that when she runs, she will be. She'll have a good shot to win at first asking, because she put in some very nice drills at Oaklawn this winter before having a minor injury and having a little setback. So she seems to be coming back well, but we just kept breezing her, and she is working very well. But that's why I haven't ran her yet. I just want to make sure everything's a go when we do turn her loose, that she fires on all cylinders.
Well, I think that's what the horse players want too, for sure. So I know Ty probably told you about 20 minutes. We've been running about 45. I apologize for that. Anybody got any final questions so we can I got one question for you. Yeah, 80 horses and they throw a name at you like that. How do you keep track of all that? Because if I had 80 horses and someone threw a name at me, I would be scrambling for notes, looking up stuff. How do you keep track of all that?
It's easier when you get on a lot of them, but I don't know. I'm a sicko, I guess. You just throw me a name, and you throw me names of horses I've had in the past, and I can tell you how they worked, how they ran, and that's just what I do.
That's impressive.
That's what a lot of us do. You just know.
Yeah, I couldn't remember all that. Ty, anything else, my man, before we let your friend get out of here?
Nah, I think everybody's had enough of Star Team for one night, maybe. No,
how about as far as you're concerned, Erica?
I'm sorry, it's like cutting in and out. I can barely hear you guys.
I was saying that we're going to let Scott go. Do you have any other questions?
I guess for both Scott and Ty, I know I had met you guys both in Houston about a year ago. Do we expect you guys, to come back to Houston? You, Ty, to ride, and you, Scott, to train? I
expect being back to Houston next year in the 2023 season. That's my plan as of right now. As long as they'll have me and they let me back in H-Town.
I tell you, I personally really enjoyed my time there at Houston. Had some success there, and actually rode some for Scott there. It's definitely not off the table for me. Me and my wife, we both really enjoyed it there, and had a lot of good times there in old Houston.
So when you ride for Scott, Ty, and you win, do the people come up to you and say it's a good thing that Scott's a good trainer?
Yes.
No,
100%.
because we all know
That's
the real
exactly what
story.
they said.
That was all me on that one.
Yeah.
We all know the real story.
All right. Yeah, we'll get to the real story some other day. Scott, we 100% appreciate you joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing your name a lot in the winner's circle and, continued success, and that you blow through 2021's high water mark for yourself.
That's the plan.
All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Our team, thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Ty.
Oh, and
Thanks,
don't
guys.
forget, when that gear is up, to let us know. When
Oh,
the
I
supply
will.
chain issue for you is over, let us know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a
good
great night.
All right.
All righty, Erica. So now it's your turn. What do you got for us at Lone Star this week?
Okay. So I actually, for workouts, like I said, the Scott Young workouts, you all heard that. There was one I like that actually is coming off from a layoff, I believe. And for Dallas Keene, he'll probably be entering her soon. Hasn't ran since October of last year. Bodie Mistress is the name. And this filly actually won a maiden claim, got first in that race the last time she ran. And so it's been working great. It's been working here at Lone Star the last month, working 4 furlongs, going 48.96. Before that, 3 furlongs, 36.71. And she's just working well. And I know Dallas Keene, he does pretty good at working his horses. He's kind of consistent with that, and then knows which horses, which races to enter these horses. And so I always, throw him up there, handicapping, because again, he just does well, hits the board. So like I said, he's been working this horse really well. So she's someone to look forward to. Bodie Mistress is the name, Bode Mistress. So you all will remember that horse.
Those Bodie horses are usually pretty fast too.
Yeah, no, for sure. So maybe look to maybe entering, a short race here, a speed race. So again, he's great at training. Something about Dallas Keene kind of throwing him out there. He usually just works 3s and 5s with his horses. Rarely goes 4. So like I said, that's something too I see as a clocker. Again, how these trainers train, and that's something he does usually train his horses to run. Another horse that's in actually on Monday, so this Monday, 4th of July, Peak Factor for Kevin Peak. He trains and owns this horse. Just worked the 26th of this past week, but I liked how this horse closed. This horse started, I don't want to say slow, but started off, not too quickly, but finished strong. I had made note of it. So this is someone who I liked. It's in this weekend in an allowance race. Race 1 on 4th of July. So if you all are watching all races on 4th of July, Peak Factor is somebody to, remember for that day, as in, for the workouts. But that's as for workouts, I like those horses. I do have some picks for the races. Just a few here. I don't want to keep everybody. I know you all have been on here for quite a while, but there's a maiden special weight, July 2nd. We don't have racing Thursday and Friday, so we start Saturday. For you handicappers out there, no racing this week. But Bold Connection. I know, Ty, you rode for Fincher a lot. I know you had rode. Jonathan Who's one I remember. Love that horse.
Jonathan Who, Sheriff Brown.
Yeah, I love Sheriff Brown. That horse is great. How he works. He usually works him in company with, younger horses. And so,
yeah.
So, I mean, nothing great like that horse,
Yeah.
But, do you I guess, ride in like contact with
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear her, Ty, or has it gone like digital?
I could hear bits and pieces of her.
Yes, I think, Erica, you kind of went out a little bit, so I don't know if your cell signal's kind of coming in or out. Are you back with us now?
It might be. Can you hear me?
I got her now.
I can hear a little bit. You're still in and out for me a little bit, but you were mentioning that you had some horses that you liked on the 2nd. And who were they?
Yes. No, actually that are in on the 2nd. These horses run on the maiden special weight on the 2nd. Bold Connection for Todd Fincher. Rudy Guerra is on the mount, has worked this horse, and so he's going to run the race with this same jockey that works him. Going 48-47, this horse worked on June 24th. Consistently working 48s, nothing too fast, nothing too slow, just, perfect times. And again, this horse closes really well. And so that's a horse I like, as well as Cajun Gumbo. Again, I picked Gelner with these maiden special weights. He does well with these babies, and Laziz on that mount. And again, consistently fast workout. So that's somebody I like the workouts. Clary is also in that race. If you all been keeping up with Lone Star, Jalen Clary has done amazing this past couple weeks. Been winning first places. She's doing great. Young trainer. Again, I admire her work. She does great. She's in that baby race. So again, she's gonna be up there. She's been keeping up. She's been doing really well. So again, remember those horses for that maiden special weight on July 2nd. I think that's it, guys. I don't have too much. Like I said, I know you all have been on here. There's nothing really else I have for you all. Just watch the races, 4th of July. Make sure you're betting and tuning in.
Fun and doing so responsibly, and eating little man jerky, right?
That's exactly right.
So this time around, I know we haven't in the past, but Erica's promised that she'll get us the horses that she mentioned in the races that they're in. So we'll go ahead and post that up. What?
I'm sorry, you're like cutting out. I'm sorry.
Just saying that you're going to give me a little write-up of the horses that you like, and then we're going to put it on horseracingtoday.net. Don't you just love technology, Ty?
Oh, it's great when it works, right?
Mm-hmm. I wonder how we lived without it. But
much simpler.
It was indeed. So Erica's going to get me some notes on the horses that she's talked about, both in terms of the horses that are just working out and horses that she's looked at in the program that she thinks are going to do pretty well based upon what she's seen in the mornings at the track. It's been a long day here, Ty. Any final thoughts before we hop out of here?
No, I think it was another good show. I think all week we've managed to hopefully provide a lot of insight and information to hopefully everybody listening, and hopefully they can learn and benefit, and everybody's happy with it.
Mm-hmm. I've been happy. You've done an excellent job, I'd say. Erica, can you hear us or no? She still can't hear us, so she's removed. Erica, I was just saying before you jumped out that you're going to provide me with just the names of the horses in the races that they're going to be in. And, of course,
you can post that anywhere you want.
Sounds good. All right, so it looks like your cell connection's not working there, Erica. We look forward to seeing you next week. Erica, you have a great 4th of July down there in the Lone Star State. We'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. And then for you, Ty, we not 100% sure on what the situation is going to be tomorrow. I will let you know, but as it stands right now, tomorrow night at 9:30, we're likely to do a show for Churchill Downs. We don't have a guest, but I've had some things pop up in my house that might require my attention. And then tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern, Terry and I will be back to do our best to handicap Belmont Park. So make sure you keep an eye on our social sites. You see them down there. Horse Race, the number 2 day, Horse Race Today. And our Swiss Army Shawn, even with sand between his toes, will keep you up to speed on what's going on here at horseracingtoday.net. While you're here, I want to say thank you to everybody who gave us a thumbs up. Steve Goodrich, Terry, our good friend Terry T.D. Houghton. I got to say that like if I were a professional sports broadcaster. Karen Garcia, Robert Bryan, Mike Watkins, Beverly Taylor, and, of course, our good friend Jay Marco. If, like you like what you saw, please thumbs up on Facebook, thumbs up on YouTube, tweet, retweet, all that kind of good stuff. Ty, usually on Wednesday, Shawn cries at this time. Are you thinking about crying?
No, I'm not thinking about crying, but I'm thinking about getting a snack, though.
Right. Well, we'll let you get to a snack. Terry and I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, they're saying you did a great job coming off the bench, Ty. I agree with you. Absolutely, 100%. Look forward to it again. Again, we'll keep you up to speed on the plans for tomorrow. Ty, it's been my pleasure so far. For sure. I'm looking forward to working with you again. And, of course, if we're not live tomorrow, we always wish you nothing but the best of luck, my man.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Had a lot of fun, and let's do it again.
And everybody was telling me behind the scenes how well prepared you were. So I was very happy to see that. So you definitely did your homework before that. And we hope, Terry, in the comment section, we hope no matter what you do, Ty, that it ends up in the winner's circle, my man. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow. I got to press the right button coming out this time.